My dear friends, today we celebrate the memorial of Saint Dominic. And usually, if you go for ordinations or professions, or even during Easter, we have the Litany of the Saints, and you find Dominic and Francis always together. And yes, they are contemporaries, and Saint Dominic founded the Order of Preachers, that's why they're OP, and while Francis founded the Order of Friars Minor, and that's us Franciscans. And the two of them probably met. It was said that the friars were having a chapter of Metz in Assisi, and St. Dominic was apparently there. And Dominic asked Francis, like, "Oh, there's so many friars gathered here. How are you going to feed them?" And as he was saying this, cartloads of food were being sent to provide. And so this is a beautiful moment of Francis and Dominic coming together and just talking about God's providence. And God does provide. And very often God provides Himself. And His presence is our greatest gift. And you can find that for Francis and Dominic, they both have experienced God in such a powerful way that they want to take up their own cross and to renounce whatever dreams they had and just to follow the Lord and to be able to bring the good news to the people. So there was a heresy during that time of Dominic and Francis, which was the Albigensian heresy, that believes that the soul is good, the body is bad. So it's very dualistic, yeah. And the soul is produced by God, who is good, and then the body is produced by another, like, equivalent God that is bad, this deity, and there's always this fighting. But the thing is, our Christian faith, our Christian truth teaches us that we are body and soul, and all is good because God is good. And Francis and Dominic bring this about in different ways. Dominic, who was more learned, used rationality. He used arguments to win people over. Yeah, it was said that he went to bars to engage the heretics in the bars, and as they're sharing a drink, he'll talk to them about the truth of the Catholic Church, the Catholic faith, and that's how he brings back the Albigensian heretics. And you can see that the Dominicans wear black and white, so their motto is veritas, which means truth. Whereas for Francis, he went about preaching the goodness of the self, including the body, by being with the people and just to share peace and all good and joy and just to interact with them, acknowledging even those who are diseased, like lepers, those who are fearful and outcasts, like the wolf of Gubbio, the Sultan of Egypt, to say that some people call you bad or evil or the other, but I see you as brother. And therefore, we have a connection. And because you are good, I can contact you as good. And that's how Francis combats Albigensian heresy, by his way of being. So we have got this beautiful two ways, using the intellect and then using love. Because for Francis and Franciscans, our motto is caritas, which means charity or deep love. So we've got veritas for the Dominicans and caritas for the Franciscans. And because we're so closely united in a way, because of our common history, that very often for the feast day of Dominicans, the Franciscans will be invited to preach at that feast day, and then for the feast day of St. Francis, normally a Dominican will come and preach. This is usually the tradition around the world, because our two orders are very common, yeah, because this is a time when there was a new form of religious life. The Benedictines were the ones that went up to mountains and, in a way, escaped from the world to be with God. Yeah? But the friars, Dominican friars, Franciscan friars, want to be with the people. So it's a more incarnational spirituality, to be with. And you can see that it's in different forms. Dominic has his own way, Francis has his own way. And the question for us today is, what is our own way? And as they experience God speaking to them, like how God spoke to Moses, like from the heart of the fire, we may have also got our experience of God speaking to us from the heart of the fire to our hearts. And it's from this burning that we then bring the good news of truth, of love to others. And let us continue to let Dominic and Francis to continue to guide us and to know that by ourselves, sometimes we don't have the complete way, but sometimes with others, if we collaborate, it will become more complete, more whole, more beautiful, and more godlike. And so may God continue to walk with us on this godlike journey.